1 minute. Let me close this. I close my office door. I had to close my office door because I have my grands this weekend, and I'm doing their hair. Well, at least one of them. And boy, you think my hair is a challenge. Their hair is a challenge. Well, it is December, the month of December. And I know I had said around December, maybe January, December, I would kind of uh, straighten my hair a little bit, but I'm not going to go down the hair shaft. And I'm going to show you guys how I use minimal heat. And I try to just use it on the new growth as opposed to the ends the best I can. And then I'm going to do a wrap and tie my hair down. And that's basically how I try to get the rest of it semi straight. Now, it's not a silk press because I don't silk press my hair anymore. I don't do a hard press. So here I'm using, of course, my Temu. And I've got my Temu on my third setting. It's on, let me make sure it's on 3. Blinking on 4. Okay, so it's on 3. When it's blinking on 3, then it's on 3. When it's blinking on 4, then it's on 4. Okay, so I've already kind of done this side, as you guys can see. And basically, I had to do something about my roots. Guys, my roots were just, and I still need to come back and do in here. Because, let me see if I can get it. Because it's already braided, twisted up. And I'm just doing the roots. And the Temu is pretty good at getting to the roots. The edges, now that's another thing. Now this is just a warm, what they used to call years ago, a warm press. Just a warm press. My mom used to do it years ago. Warm press our hair after she would dry it. Or after it dried, and most of the time she would let our hair air dry. And then the next day, take it out of the braids and do a warm press. I'm also using my Chi, which is Iron Guard, where I have already sprayed my hair, but I'll show you guys. I'll spray it again with the Iron Guard. It only takes a little. And I'm using my cream press, my Care. Love this stuff. Cream press. And all of that helps kind of guard my head from the heat, to pretty much eliminate the heat damage as much as possible. So you're not going to be able to eliminate like 100%. But if you can get 95 to 98% eliminated heat damage, that's real good. Now here's where I said is my problem piece. So on my problem piece, I take about a tip of this Care, and I'm only noticing I'm putting it on the ends of my hair. Not the ends, I'm sorry, the root. You can use it generously because over time it's just going to go down the hair shaft. But you want to press this right into the snip, making sure I got enough of it in there. I may separate this because I take tiny pieces. It takes a lot of patience. Now I know how my beautician felt when she used to do this. Okay, so, and then I take my Temu and I'm just doing the root, and it's on a warm setting. maybe about 350, because I'm not trying to cook my hair. I'm not trying to fry my hair like a silk press would do. This is what you call a warm press. See, a silk press, you can hear that grease popping. And most of the time on the silk press, they don't put no oil. They just start pressing your hair. And you remember years ago when we would get press and comb, hot iron on the stove, our moms would put oil on our hair. That it was that oil that protected our hair and kept our hair from as much damage. That's why when we would wash our hair, it would go back to its natural state. One of the reasons why we get this heat damage is because they don't silk press it with anything but the protective spray, which is not 100% oil unless it's argon. Okay, and then after I do that, I kind of separate at the ends, because with my fingers, just to make sure that I went far enough down. This is a really thick, and this is really a thick piece. It just needs to, and it is improving, y'all. I can see some improvement in it. Let me put a little more. The silk press too, the cream press too, helps with the friction of going down the hair shaft. I really want to get this because this is really, this is so tough. It don't even press. I mean, this side of my head is just toughy to the toughies. And it's the side that's subject to the most breakage. So I try to be really, 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 really gentle with it. Not yanking, not pulling, and all of that. Just really gentle. Okay, I don't want to do too much to this side because, like I said, this is the side that is the most vulnerable on my head. And here we go. We're going with a preconceived, trying to form knot. And I'm getting it out before it even dry. There we go. Preconceived, trying to form. And that's just from hair going down the hair shaft. Okay? So, okay. Let's see if I got it. Okay. So, I didn't get close enough to the root up here. All right. So we're not doing anything real in the back. I kind of tackle that last. Then I'm just getting the top part. Taking this a little bit at a time because, like I said, this part right here is the toughest. And then the back part, I've already gotten like the under my neck in the back, like under here. All right, this is a tough one too up in here, tough area. This is where I've experienced breakage. And it's doing really good, guys, because it's not as long, but it has really grown out. Look at that. I mean, because it had broke down to like right there. And there's one other thing that I use that I didn't mention, and that is I use onion juice on my hair. And sometimes I put it on because of the smell. I just can't get used to the smell. One YouTuber was using it like water, and I can't because I don't like going around smelling like an onion. So with the onion juice, I only use it toward the end of the week when it's almost time for my wash day. So I might put it on, like if I'm going to wash my hair on a Saturday morning, then might put the onion juice on my hair on Thursday and or Wednesday and Friday. So with my oil, I'm gonna use the onion juice on a Wednesday and on a Friday because I know I'm washing my hair that Saturday morning. But I only use it and maybe only once a week. I may only do Friday. I don't put onion juice in my hair every day because I don't want to smell like an onion. I just can't deal with the smell. But I do make my own onion juice out of white, sweet. I take a sweet onion, and when you go to the grocery store, if you buy the onion, it says sweet onion. So I use a sweet onion. I'm gonna turn that fan up because I'm starting to sweat with this heat. I use a sweet onion and I use a red onion. Now, red onions are the most powerful when it comes to sodium, when it comes to, God, I can't remember what it is that onions do. I got to get my thing. And I have to add this because onions have sulfur. When it comes to the sulfur content, um, I don't have onions on this list because when I started off, I used onions, but I don't have onions on this list. But onions are great. And I remember when I started off, I used to make a paste with onions, fenugreek, um, yogurt, and that I used to make a paste with it in almond powder. And I got it from an Indian woman. And I had stopped using onions. And I noticed that when I started back to using onions, how thick my roots had gotten. See, um, all you ladies that are concerned about um, what we should be concerned is about healthy hair. But if excuse me, if your major concern is growth and length retention, what you want to do is work on keeping your hair in what is called the aging stage. And that's where onion juice comes in. Onion juice, with onion juice, your your hair lives longer at the root. Because in order for your hair to get longer, it has to live longer from the root. You have to have strands that say, hey, I'm not gonna come off for at least 2 years. And if you have strands that are gonna stay on for at least 2 years and there's no breakage, then that is 12 inches of growth. That's 12 inches. And that's a lot. But you have to have your hair has to stay in that stage. So you have to use things that are going to keep your hair in that stage for over a year, at least a year. Because if you can keep it in that stage for a year, the aging stage, okay? If you keep it in that stage for at least a year, you know you're going to get on that hair strand, you're going to get 6 inches of growth. So how much of your hair would stay in that stage? And I learned that a long time ago about hair stages. Okay, it's how long you can keep it in that stage. Okay, and how how long you can keep it in that stage, and how healthy are your roots, and how much can you prevent it from breaking on the ends. You want to prevent the breakage. You want to keep the ends moisturized. And I'm seeing that I really need to moisturize my ends. Um, in the wintertime, it's tough. I know it's tough in the wintertime to keep your hair moisturized. It's really tough in the wintertime. So here I am, I'm tackling now the back, which I really, the back, have to take very, very small pieces. Reason being is because that's the toughest part of my hair, the back. Toughest part, the back. So in the back, I go across with very, very small pieces. Plus, my iron guard, and I'm gonna put my cream press on the root. Mm-hmm. Okay. So this will show you guys. This is basically what I do. Um, I have recently seen a change in my hair. Um, I've gained a couple of inches of growth. Sometimes, in order, like I said, the only way you're gonna see if your hair is growing is to stretch it. Is to wear it in a stretch state. Otherwise, you're not gonna even enjoy whether or not it's gotten longer or you have. And then I'm probably gonna wear my hair in a bun. I tried to do it before I did this, and I just couldn't comb through it. So I was like, I'm not gonna struggle here. The struggle is over. I'm just gonna get this Timu and go to these roots so I can at least wear a bun in my head. Because I would really like to wear a bun. Okay? So we're really, really tough, but it's happening. Going down the hair shaft in the back, really, really tough. Not easy. Like I said, it's the toughest part of my head. Well, and of course I'm using a wide tooth, and I can have had significant growth back here. So, because this is where I get breakage. Of course, I keep it trimmed or dusted in the back as much as possible. Like that. And we take another little small piece, and we just have to take one small piece at a time. And then I used to have a beautician do this, so this is challenging. So what I do too is I will split this into threes now. After I've done it very, very back, I split it into three sections. Well, actually, it will be three. This is one big section that I'm clipping up. But I have this section right here that I'm going to work on first in the back. A little guard on it, especially on the ends. And I'm going to work on this section first, starting from the bottom of the section. There's a piece. Take another clip. And I got these clips from the beauty supply. I love these clips. Best clips I ever had. Okay. I take my, in this cream press, guys, I mix this a little bit with my um, Magic Mane. My Magic Mane. I mixed it a little bit. So with that mix, it helps with the tangling because the Magic Mane is a good detangler. The Magic Mane, the detangler that I use, mixed it a little bit with the detangler. So that makes it even easier because it makes it detangle. Let's see, my hands don't look bad. Because I already dusted them. It's like a month ago. And I'm like, here's your truth test. And I know those ladies that you see with this thing demonstrating it, and they just slide all the way down. Your hair is not going to slide all the way down like that. Yeah, it all depends on your type of hair and your curl pattern. My hair does not slide all the way down. I have to take my time, detangle as I go. Otherwise, I would rip my hair apart. And I'm not here to rip my hair apart. Right. Okay. Let's do one more. Remember, I'm not here to completely just, kind of get it halfway. When I get to a certain point, I'll braid like a portion of it. Okay, so let's go across here and get another small piece. And I try to take big pieces before, but taking real big pieces just doesn't work. I can't do it with real big pieces. I have to take my time and take small pieces, especially when it comes to his back, with the naughty on his back. So I can even put this on the ends because, like I said, I have my main magic. And especially if you see your ends bumping and curling, that means your ends are not damaged. I don't care what they have said to you. One of the reasons why I had to learn how to do my own hair um, was the same reason why I had to learn how to do it in college. When I first went to college, I could find nobody to do my hair. No beautician or nothing because back then everybody was getting a perm. I didn't have a perm yet. And so I had to learn how to do my hair. I think I found one lady that did that pressed hair. And she had this storefront, it wasn't even a storefront, back in the alley salon somewhere. And she pressed my hair. And I never forget because my mom came down to visit. And my mom, she was just complimenting on how well the woman had done. She said, "Oh, she really did well on her hair." That was the one and only time that I had that lady do my hair. After that, I had to learn how to do my hair myself. And then shortly after that, because everybody was getting perm, I ran out and got a perm when I was in college. I probably would have never, I probably would have eventually gotten a perm anyway because everybody was getting one. And it was, just everybody was just, I don't even know what the big thing about perm was. I went to get the perm myself, and at that time, my college friend, who was my best friend in middle school, and we ended up going to the same college. We ended up going to the same college, and she was maid of honor at my wedding. One of them, she was maid of honor. And when she got married, I wasn't a maid of honor, nothing. She just invited me to the wedding, and I didn't go. Um, because I just believe I was more of a friend to her than she was to me. And you learn that over the years. And that's one thing that I'm going to talk about Sunday when I do the teaching on life now is about people in your life and look around. You really, sometimes what you need to do is an intelligent adult sits down and it's a business. It's like being in business. Because to a certain extent, life is a business. You sit down and you think about who's in your life and you think about the benefits of them being in your life. Because nine times out of ten, a lot of people that are in our lives, we did not go to God about those people. We didn't check first. We just opened the doors to our heart, minds, and we just gave these people unlimited. A lot of times it's innocently done because God did put us on the earth for each other. So a lot of times we think that because we feel a certain way or we think a certain way about a person, That's the way they think and feel about us. And I had a very good friend when I first got saved. It was a couple of years after I had gotten saved, gave my life to the Lord. And I'm not saying she was a bad person, okay? But she caused me a lot of, what you would say, heartache because, and if it wasn't for my husband at the time, the man that I married, it would have really affected me more. Or the other women that were around me at the time who were women of God. And they helped explain the situation because when you love a person, okay, and you want the best for them, you're not jealous, you're not envious, or anything like that. When God starts to bless them, you're not jealous. So she had problems with her hair. And she one time called me crying about her hair. And I gave her some advice. And I gave her the word. Because the church that we went to didn't believe in cutting the hair at all. Not even trimming your ends. And of course, this was men that said this, men that don't have hair. And so I told her, I said, well, sister, your hair is your glory. She had gone out and gotten, back then we would get like Jerry curls. Well, I never had one, but it was like a new curl that came out that wasn't a wet curl, but it was supposed to be a dry curl. Still had to use activators, so I don't know how it was dry. But at any rate, she didn't have a good, she didn't, we didn't really know how to take care of our hair like that. And if you didn't have what they call good hair, you really suffered. So she went and she got this curl, and her ends, because she had a perm. See, she got a curl, but only her new growth curled. The perm part, now I think the beautician told her that. I'm not a beautician, but I can tell you that the perm part didn't curl. So she was very upset about the perm part not curling. And I told her, and the beautician said, the only way you're going to be able to get your hair, you're going to have to cut the perm off. And she didn't want to cut her hair because the church at that time that we were dealing with did not believe in the cutting of the hair. So if you needed your ends dusty, you just couldn't do it. Um, and so, to make a long story short, I told her, I said, your hair is your glory and you want it to look good. So she went, she let the beautician clip her ends, just a little bit, but it made a great difference in the way her hair looked. Well, we were in a restaurant one time, and she sat there and talked about my hair. Oh, my hair was so long till when I combed it and it fell out. I didn't even know she was watching me like that. Because we were friends. Sometimes we'd spend the night with each other, and stuff like that. She said it fell out on my butt. And she just thought that was so funny. Well, it kind of hurt my feelings because I'm like, why is she so focused on me and my hair? Make a long story short, when I got ready to marry my husband, not only did she not buy her $32 dress, it was only $32, the lady made it for us. She didn't even show up for my wedding. Now that's jealousy. And the Bible says it's as cruel as the grave. She was just that jealous. And I thought she was my friend. Mhm. This is a girl that we all prayed with this girl. We went on fast together. Mhm. Because when I met my husband, she really showed her behind. That's why I tell people it's just like that girl, what's her name? Tamara, that left her husband for something stupid. And now, and the man really loved her. She didn't even have a reason, a good reason for leaving the man. Marriages evolve, people change, but that doesn't mean we leave each other. When you're married to somebody that loves you and you guys are still building something together, and the man ain't beating on you, he's not abusing you, he's lifting you up and just loving you, and you're gonna get up and leave, no reason, and here your girlfriends are sitting behind around you. Girl, you ought to just walk out. Girl, you know why they saying that? Because they ain't got no man. They should be sitting there encouraging you to stay in your marriage. They should be encouraging you because the Bible said God hate the putting away. Well, now she's talking about she find out ain't nothing out there. Cause she made a mistake leaving her husband, breaking up her family. So now she out there now trying to get that man back. And her girlfriends, Tia or Tamara, I don't know which one it is, but it's one of the twins. Her girlfriends are still at the table talking about something. What you mean you're going back to him? See? Instead of them saying, girl, I'm so happy for you. You decided, I can't tell you what to do about your marriage, but try to make your marriage work. Go to God, find out. But that's not the advice that she was giving. Just stupid advice. You understand? Out of people that don't know what a relationship is because they've never really been in one to find out. Okay? They're speaking from a point of stupidity or ignorance. But I thought this girl was my friend. Now we're both older women now, middle aged women now. But back then we were younger, in our 20s. She was older, a little older than me. I was in my 20s. She was a little older than me. But I really found out who she really was. And that's one thing that I'm going to talk about Sunday. But one of the things I never did, and I'm not going to give it away now, but I'm going to talk about it Sunday about what God had given me that I just didn't do. And it's a passage in the Bible that up until this point in my life, I wasn't even doing it. I don't think I was. Because I think had I been doing that, I would have saved myself a lot of dead end relationships and, and so called friendships that weren't never going to go nowhere because the people, and it's not to say they were bad people. Sometimes this is the people didn't fit in the plan of God for my life. Everybody is not going to fit in the plan of God for your life. And if they don't fit, you can't force them to fit. You can't. Oh, she is my fingers. You got my Italian in my fingers. I gently rake. I rake gently, just raking it down. So it doesn't. Uh, Still, I think it's my fingers. Even the team would get tired of waiting. Useless. I couldn't even go into my head, so I had to do something. This is that section. This is gonna be really, can look at. I can't really for that. This. Now, just to show you, just I'm gonna dust the ends a little bit, just to help the dust the ends, help the other hair just flat out. You know, I did lose some hair, not that much, but that's everything since I've been doing it. My clippers, so before I take it out of these twists, I definitely clip it. Alright, then I'll split this side. Nice. Let's make it quicker because this side is not as much there. It's probably going to be a bit quicker. But I have to use more cream plus on this side. Mm-hmm. You have to stay away from toxic. And what I've learned in my lifetime, I have to be very, very careful that I stay away from toxic people. And you're going to meet toxic people, especially, unfortunately, in church, a place where you wouldn't expect to meet crazy people. Does that mean you don't go to church? No. That means that you learn how to deal with toxic people. Now, the best way to deal with toxic people is to have a life. Back then, I really didn't have a life. I really didn't. I didn't have a, I wasn't in school. I really didn't have a social life. It was like everything. I didn't have a business, nothing to run. I didn't own anything. I had a little job at a Christian school, but I didn't really have a life because church didn't teach us how. I had a life before that was going pretty decent. I mean, wasn't going, and when I say decent, I mean I can't say decent because it wasn't a life without the Lord. Let's put it like that. But when I say I didn't have a life, I didn't understand the warfare. Let's put it like I do now. Sometimes you go places in church or no church. You can't say it's just church because it's everywhere. And people will size you up and try to figure you out. When I meet people, I don't try to. You have some people that meet people, and that's what they know. I hear people say all kinds of crazy stuff to me. I had a friend of mine in the church again whose sister told me she thought I was stuck up. And I'm like, huh? Yeah, I am now. Trying to be saved. And you sitting around using a married woman with children, saying I'm stuck up. I still remember that comment to this day. And then her husband got caught with another woman in McDonald's and they got divorced. Sweep around your own front door. Okay, guys, I'm going to get off. I hear people waking up. So I'm going to come off. But just to show you, I'm almost done. I got that one piece in the back, this piece to finish, a piece in the back, and then last thing I do is the top of my head. This heat is really getting to me. So it's cool. Good. Oh, sorry. Hit my nose. Sorry. Okay. All right, guys. It's off. It's real, y'all. It's me. And this piece right here. Y'all, this is still too big. We gotta split this. Put a small piece. In fact, let me just take this and go to the top with it. I'm gonna just include this in the top. Because when I do the top, I just go back with it. Strawberry. And there we have it. All right. So, guys, have a great one. And remember, trust the process. DIY, back to basics, all about